USC football strikes twice, landing major defensive recruits. Shohei Ohtani will sorta speak with the press today, and we'll take a look at the Galaxy's remarkable rally this weekend in Kansas City. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. And it is March 25th, 2024. By the time you see this clip, I'm going to be on a plane heading back home from work. And I totally can't wait. But let's get the day started off on the right foot by talking LA sports. And if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that and let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means, comment. I always look forward to hearing from you guys. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Anthony Davis scored 36 points and grabbed 16 rebounds to lead the Lakers to a 150-145 victory over the Indiana Pacers. LeBron James added 26 points. Earlier, Philadelphia defeated the Clippers 121-107, and frankly, not a good look. Kawhi Leonard scored 20 points to lead the Clippers. Just 20. That's not good enough. Meanwhile, James Harden continued to build his Shaqtin' resume by putting former Sixers teammate Tyrese Maxey in a headlock while both were going for a rebound. Guys, there's a time for levity. Losing ain't it. Meanwhile, the schedule for today, Indiana's staying in town to play the Clippers at 7:30, and the Kings are at Vancouver at 6. The Kings looked absolutely lovely sweeping a homestand, but now the road beckons. What do you say we get to the news? Lincoln Riley has just sent 2 lightning bolts across the college football recruiting landscape. 5-star defensive tackle Justice Terry, the number 7 prospect for 2025, has flipped his commitment from Georgia to USC. Also yesterday, the Trojans landed a 4-star defensive end who grew up in Georgia, Isaiah Gibson, also the class of 2025. Both are considered top 100 prospects. And by the way, Riley and the Trojans right now are being bold as hell. The Georgia Bulldogs have been a national power for a while, and the Trojans have no problem saying that they're going to go into that area and pluck players right out. For example, 5-star quarterback Julian Lewis for 2025, also from Georgia. A defensive end who's coming in this year, Cameron Fountain, from Georgia. Now, regarding Terry, he called the switch from Georgia to SC a, quote, no-brainer. He said he was impressed not only by defensive coordinator DeAnton Lynn, but defensive line coach Eric Henderson, the former Rams assistant. It is going to be difficult to understate just how important Henderson is becoming to the Trojans program, because he has a very simple sales pitch. I coached Aaron Donald, and then I developed Kobe Turner into a Rookie of the Year candidate in the NFL last year. Now, I want to be clear about this with you guys, because it's easy as hell to get excited, especially after the abomination that we had seen on defense since Pete Carroll left to go back to the NFL. USC finished 119th in total defense last year. So I'm not sitting there telling you that this is going to be an elite defense all of a sudden. I'm saying there should be marked improvement. Big news out of USC. Meanwhile, with the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani will speak to the press, but not necessarily with the press today, regarding his former interpreter allegedly swiping $4.5 million from the player to pay off a gambling debt. The reason I did not leave this episode with a screaming headline of Shohei speaks is because we have little idea how Ohtani is going to handle this. For all we know, he's going to look at the reporters, look at the cameras, read a prepared statement, and walk right out of the room without answering a single question. Now, you may hate that, but even presidents do it on both sides of the political aisle. And Ohtani enjoys keeping the press at a distance. He's done so for his entire career. Just ask the Angel scribes, for Pete's sake. And by the way, Ohtani also has a lovely shield from the press because he doesn't speak English. As for what the Dodgers think about the whole thing, let's just say that there are few things more pointless than asking a question you already know the answer to. There are no stupid questions, they say. That's not true. When you already know the answer, your question is stupid. But the job of a newspaper reporter, a scribe, is to ask the stupid question. It really is. I had to do it for years. So they asked Dave Roberts if it's a distraction. What the hell do you think Dave Roberts is going to say? Oh, it's not a distraction. What else is he going to say? Oh my God, Ohtani screwed us 2 games into the season? Of course not. Now keep in mind, I will give Roberts enough credit for this. The Dodgers have experience already with scandal. Consider Trevor Bauer. Roberts added, though, that it would be good for Ohtani to speak with the press about the situation. That's not true. For the press, it could be great. But for Ohtani, no. And here's why. It's a criminal investigation. He's not the target of the criminal investigation, but it is a criminal investigation. Lawyers don't want you just randomly gabbing away to the press. The worst job in America, if you think about it, if you're going to talk politics, has to be Donald Trump's lawyer, wouldn't you say? Because the guy never shuts up. You may love him. That's your vote. That's fine. But he never shuts up. And he's got he's got 91 criminal counts against him. And he never shuts up about it. But anyway, back to Ohtani. Lawyers do not want you gabbing to the press, and I'm not even sure the cops want you gabbing to the press. They just want to investigate on their own terms. And by the way, to this presser that Ohtani's holding, if I were part of the LA Times, if Ohtani does answer questions, believe you me, I am sending a Japanese interpreter because I want to know what Ohtani says to interpreter, what the interpreter in turn says, and I would exploit every irregularity from English to Japanese to try to get more information. It's the best way for the press to do it. Just saying. Emmett Sheehan, who has a forearm issue, could face live hitters this week. This is according to The Athletic. He was in the running to be the 5th starter for the Dodgers before spring training, but he hasn't even made his debut in the Cactus League. Now keep something in mind. When the trainers say forearm, it could actually be the elbow. Last year, multiple pitchers went from forearm trouble on the Dodger staff to Tommy John surgery. So, fingers crossed regarding Emmett Sheehan. Bill Plaschke, Captain Emo of the LA Times, wrote a column about the Dodgers yesterday, and I don't care. Neither should you. Oh, they're either the greatest team ever put together or the biggest flop. Yeah, no kidding, Bill. Thank you for the insight. Wonderful to read the obvious. It's one thing when you could read the obvious when a newspaper costs 25 cents, but now you're sitting there looking at a little flimsy sheet that's going to cost like $5 and it's telling you that the Dodgers could either be the greatest team ever or the biggest flop. What kind of an investment of your $5 is that? In Major League Soccer, they call the supporters section in Kansas City Blue Hell. And the LA Galaxy gave them a close-up look at 8 minutes of blue and gold hell on Saturday. There is a lot to take away from the Galaxy's impressive rally on Saturday, because the Galaxy were absolutely dominated for 2/3 of the match. At the half, Sporting shot 17 times to the Galaxy's 2. Now, and by the way, Kansas City at that point had effectively neutralized LA's speed to the outside. Now, my analysis, to be honest with you, is going to be a little simplistic, but it goes like this. In recent years, the Galaxy offense centered around getting the ball to one guy and then just praying that either Zlatan Ibrahimovic or Chicharito would create something out of nothing. Now, it is true that Dejan Joveljic is now tied for the league lead in goals with 5. But the Galaxy are second overall in goals in the league. In other words, yeah, Joveljic is scoring in bunches, but the offense is completely spread out. And the reason that they're doing this holds true in many sports. If you have multiple scoring threats, as the Galaxy have, a scoring threat here, a scoring threat here, a scoring threat here, eventually the defense has to respect too many people. And then the defense gets spread out, and all of a sudden scoring lanes get wide open. It's not just true in soccer. It's true in basketball. The Lakers for decades played an inside-out game. So what do? Even now, on the defense for the other team, do you respect Anthony Davis and double team him, or do you double team LeBron? One of them is going to have a mismatch, right? The Rams, same thing. You can't double cover everyone. So do you leave single coverage on Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua? For the Galaxy, this explains why manager Greg Vanney wanted 2 speedy wingers so badly for years. The difference is he didn't get them on the roster until this year, Joseph Paintsill and Gabriel Peck. It's the same principle. Now, I'm not saying I'm right about everything when it comes to sports strategy, but I was telling you guys before this season started that Ricky Puig was going to be extremely deadly because he, as a facilitator, had Paintsill, had Peck, had Joveljic, all of them multiple options to facilitate scoring plays. I have 2 more notes on Joveljic, by the way. He is only the 2nd player in league history to score in the opening 5 matches of the season. He joins Brian McBride. And the other is something I've read a lot on social media, that Joveljic is not being mobbed by his teammates when he scores, so there must be some player hating going on. Joveljic disagrees with that assessment completely. He called the fact that he wasn't under a dog pile of teammates after he scored Saturday ideal. Quote, "Great mentality. Only one guy was celebrating with me. Another 9 or 8 guys were not happy because it was just 2-2. It's some different energy this year. This is a great example," unquote. One other thing about the Galaxy now, they're not a perfect team. Let's be real about this. Their set-piece defense is trash. In other Galaxy news, the defense hasn't always been trash. Case in point, Ashley Cole. Cole played for Chelsea and Arsenal in the Premier League before coming to the Galaxy. He has been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. Cole is considered the best left back the Premier League has ever had. He is also the 3rd Premier League Hall of Famer who also played for LA Galaxy, the others being David Beckham and Steven Gerrard. So the Lakers allowed, as I mentioned, 145 points yesterday. And you know, what better time than now to talk Laker defense? Anthony Davis was asked over the weekend why the Lakers are so effective at shutting down teams with elite point guards. And he said it's because they clog the lane before that guard can get to the basket. For example, when they defeated Philadelphia a couple of nights ago, it is true that Tyrese Maxey dropped 27 points on the Lakers, but he shot 10 of 26 from the floor. Absolute trash from him that night. Great points amount, but they needed more efficiency in the shooting. And we've talked about the latest Lakers lineup a day or so ago. With LeBron James, Davis, and Rui Hachimura, a guard is trying to literally dribble through a forest on his way to the hoop. Said Davis, quote, "They don't see driving lanes, which kind of fuels their game. And also finding guys kind of gives them confidence. For us, it's just showing 2 or 3 bodies in front of whoever that guard is," unquote. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example, if you're starting to believe that USC defense could come around. Or what do you think is going to happen today with Shohei Ohtani? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Camcorta El Queso production. Take care.